Welcome, welcome, welcome to my podcast. My podcast, bitch.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to what I call Within the Flesh. We're here today with two very special guests. They're near and dear to my very life. One of them saved me from a car accident. The other one gave me their liver when I was in desperate need after all the alcohol drinking I've done. Please welcome Retrovin and Zerbra23. Go ahead, introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm
Need my lung back,
Zerbra23.
please.
Great. I'm glad you both
YouTuber.
decided to do it at the same time. I really was wanting that. Thank you.
Alright, so here, I'll introduce myself first.
Okay.
I'm Zerbra. I've been a YouTuber for, longer than I can imagine. And, it's been a pretty pleasant ride.
Did I say you could plug your content yet? What the fuck?
Oh, sorry.
That's cool.
What about you, Retro?
I'm Retrovin. I'm a, avid gamer. I enjoy my fair share of games, and that's about it.
Let's talk about your alcoholism.
I don't have alcoholism, you fool.
You wish you did?
No, that'd suck.
What's your thoughts on drugs, Retro?
I think that they're a waste of time.
Okay.
You know what? What about you, Justy? What do you think about drugs?
I
Are
did.
you a psycho, not Justy?
I kind of did a presentation when I was a little boy. It was on LSD, and I remember I was like, man, this is crazy. Because I looked it up, and there's barely to no downsides to it, surprisingly. The worst thing you get...
Oh, really?
Yeah, the worst thing you get is flashbacks. Which, I don't know even what that's about. I think it's like if you have a bad memory or a bad trip.
Well, Justy, you know what the downside of not having LSD is? You're not cool. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. I think it's because I don't have LSD, I'm not cool.
You don't have LSD in the game.
Yeah, that's what. Listen, LSD Dream Emulator. It was weird. It was called that. Like, lucid sleeping dream is what? Like, what's the acronym of LSD?
I think it was Lovely Sweet Dream.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember. Did you know for Yoshi's Island, there was an LSD level in it?
Wait,
Oh, really?
LSD.
Yeah, it was Touch Fuzzy, Get Dizzy.
Touch Fuzzy, Get Dizzy.
That was the name of the level.
That's weird.
Justy probably knows about that. Justy, you played Yoshi's Island before, right?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna have a little bit of a tism moment here, okay? The only reason why I just recognize that phrase is because it's an item in the Binding of Isaac.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a reference to that game.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, that's not from the Binding of Isaac.
Oh.
Full time.
Man, I'm sorry.
Not everything's from the Binding of Isaac.
My whole life is the Binding of Isaac. You guys
But,
Isaac's not from the Binding of Isaac.
Justy, this might be a bit of a controversial thing, but what are your thoughts on the Russian-Ukraine conflict?
I don't know. It's kind of just stupid in general, isn't it? It's like, oh, we gotta fight over shit. I don't know. Make it something interesting. Why is it even happening?
Well, it's because I forgot why it was happening.
Wasn't it because Russia was like, I gotta get all these Nazis out of Ukraine or something like that?
Yeah, it was some stupid excuse like that.
Yeah.
Even though they have Nazis in their own ranks.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I can understand war, Sometimes it's needed. Like, I don't know, if it's, well, we need resources, we need water or shit like that. I can understand that. It's not good still, but at least I can understand it. But it's just kind of like, I don't know, just seems weird. Doesn't really make sense.
It's just fighting over, territory, technically.
Yeah. And, does Russia really need it? They're already big as is,
Oh, and here's another question. Here, this one's not as controversial.
Okay.
But on the subject of like countries. No, wait, that's stupid. How about if you could choose? Here's an easy icebreaker, right?
Okay.
If you had to cut off your arm or your right, or left arm or left leg, which would you cut off?
My right, left leg.
Okay, so your right. How about your right arm and your right leg? Which one would you cut off?
I don't know. That's pretty tough. I'd probably go with my I don't know. I sit in a chair most of the day, anyways. But it'd be kind of shitty to be in a wheelchair. So.
Yeah.
But then again, I couldn't use a freaking keyboard, or I could, but it'd be difficult. I couldn't play video games anymore either. So,
To be honest, you could get like. Well, I feel like it's probably better to have like a prosthetic leg
yeah,
than it would be to have a prosthetic arm.
yeah. So I'd probably go with that. I sit down most of the day anyways. So,
What about you, Retro?
Yeah, what would you choose, Retro?
Oh, for what?
Would you rather have your right arm cut off or your right leg cut off?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably my right leg because, I already sit down a lot, so.
Now, what about you, Zerba?
Probably just my right leg.
Everyone's
I already
gonna lose their
mentioned.
right leg. We can make a piece of art with it,
What?
We can take all of our right legs and make a piece of art with it.
Exactly.
Call it the Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa.
I feel like I'm sort of like controlling the conversation here. Justy, do you have something you want to talk about?
If you could bomb a place, what would it be?
Bomb a place.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
If you could blow up some place or something, what would it be?
Probably the pyramids.
You want to blow up the pyramid?
Yeah, it's just like it's a wonder, right? It's like it'd be cool to see like what's inside the pyramids, right?
I mean, I think some people already have gone spelunking inside, but I understand.
But if you blow it up, right?
Yeah.
Then no one has to look at it anymore. I don't know.
That's fair enough. What about you, Retro?
If I could blow up anything, I would probably blow up the moon.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of fucked up.
Why? I have no idea.
And
I mean, the moon is, it's kind of like it looks kind of ugly sometimes, honestly.
you guys just don't have any reason for your bombings, your freaking terrible bombings.
What about you, Justy?
I'd blow up myself and then act like I don't know nobody.
Well, if you were blown up, you would be alive.
Yeah, but I don't know. Listen, there's no way, like, it's not like you'll ever die in an explosion. You know what I mean?
It's possible.
Right.
It's very rare, though. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, why wouldn't you want to die in an explosion if given the opportunity? That's, like, cool,
I mean, it sounds like one of the least painful ways to die, so you've got a point. And some people, when they die, they think about least painless.
Listen, I'm just saying that I don't want to live long enough to not be able to control when I shit and piss, okay? I ain't saying I want to go out tomorrow and be like, I'm going to die in an explosion, but like...
So what are you saying? Like a good lifespan year would be like 50 maybe? 60?
12 years old, you die.
Well, I think you're past that, Justy.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, you're like a good 10 years late.
Uh-oh. Well, what are you guys gonna do to help me out?
What? Wait, what do you mean?
Well, the reason why I trapped you both in this podcast, it's so that you guys can formulate a plan to kill me. I trust you both the most.
But
what?
Justy.
I say we tase him.
Tase him. That sounds like a super. That sounds like a super painful way to die.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, the more painful, the more fun, right?
All right, so let's say, Justy, the only way I'd go through with this is like, let's say, I don't know, maybe you have like a doppelganger or something, right? Okay. So it's one of those situations where, like, it's like, I'm the real Justy. No, I'm the real Justy.
Right.
And then I kill them both because, like, I don't want that possibility that I killed, like, the wrong Justy.
That's fair enough.
And in that case, I'd probably inject you or something. I don't know.
I think it'd be a cool TV show to have it where, it's. Let's take Stranger Things, for example, out of the blue, since we weren't talking about that at all. Have it be like that, a Netflix show, and have it run for plentiful of episodes. And it's about a guy who's suicidal, right? But suicide's illegal. It's illegal. You can't do it in the future. So he has to hire hitmen, but you can't hire hitmen to kill yourself, So he has to act like he has a twin brother the whole time. And he's just trying to find ways to die from the hitman. The hitman's trying to kill him, but he keeps messing it up. But he has to juggle his life between being a doppelganger of himself and just being himself. And then at the very end, he learns to love himself, but the hitman gets him. I think that's a good.
Sounds like a dark comedy.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a dark comedy, but I think it'd be pretty nice,
Sounds interesting.
Let me ask you a question, okay?
What's up?
If listen, there was a game character that came into your room, bent down or pulled down their pants and bent over your bed, who do you think it would be and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably Ratchet from the video game Ratchet and Clank.
Now let me ask you this: is he wearing shoes or is he full? Is his big dinosaur feet fully out?
It's okay, he has socks on.
Kind of fucked up. What would you do?
What about you, Zebra?
What? I wasn't paying attention.
If there was a character, any game character that walked into your room, pulled down their pants, and bent over your bed, who would it be and why?
Unfortunately, well, I gotta go after this question, but I mean, to answer this question, I don't know, maybe like they pulled down my pants or something, you said?
No, they pull down their own pants and then they bend over your bed. What do you do and who are they and why?
Oh, I don't know. Like,
What if it was one of the cars from Burnout 3 Takedown?
other cars.
Standing up on all wheels.
Yeah.
I just can't answer this. All right.
Okay.
But I'm gonna
It's a
head.
mystery.
Goodbye, Zerba.
You have a good one, Zebra.
Yep.
There he goes. He's dead. What you don't know, Retro. What you don't know is that I actually set up a hitman for him as well.
Oh shit!
That was actually him being dead. And if you don't comply through the rest of this fucking podcast with me, then well, you're gonna be dead too. Sorry.
Make it seem like you had to threaten me to make me keep doing it.
Yeah, it's my surefire way of keeping people nice and in my little grasp.
Yeah. What else are we talking about today?
Let me think. If you were setting off to Mars, you could take only one little luxury item with you. What would it be, Retro?
Oh, probably my PlayStation Vita.
Is there any reason why you would take that with you?
Well, because that's the one game system that I play a lot on.
Yeah, but I'm saying like any luxury item. It doesn't, doesn't have to be something you own. It could be anything.
Oh, like anything?
Yeah, it can only just be one luxury item. Let me see what a luxury item is.
Have pizza.
It's a food that.
Pizza's a luxury item for me.
It's food though. Let me see what a luxury item is.
When you say luxury items, are you talking like golden toilets kind of stuff?
Let's see. What is a luxury item? A luxury item is an expensive product uh, reckoned as elite and most fancied within a community or culture. So, sorry to say, but you got to take a Gucci shirt with you or something like that.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Man, kind of wonder what I would bring. It's got to be a luxury item, you know.
Well, I mean, if we're talking luxury items, and since I have the Scottish ancestry, I can come in with a kilt.
That's fair enough. Nice
And
little
that's a
kilt.
luxury item, right?
I'm not too sure about that, but maybe it is. I feel
Hopefully.
I'd probably bring myself. I'd get one of those 72-inch TVs, 100-inch TVs. I'd bring it with me, and I'd just toss it right outside, right onto Mars, and then when future explorers would come and visit, they'd be like, "Oh shit! There was a civilization here with 100-inch
There's a
TVs.
simulation.
There was a simulation here with 100-inch TVs, bro."
Oh, so you kind of want to like past death troll future visitors?
Yeah, I'm just like, have a look at this. You know, I've I've never understood the whole bigger TV thing. You know, it kind of seems weird.
Yeah, big TVs are okay. It's just like I don't see the point of having it so big, you know?
Yeah, it's like, you know, I could understand maybe something that's larger than a normal TV, but there's people who are like 100 inches, 125 inches, and I just don't really get it. Like, who's that for? You know,
Big people.
big people. Do we live in a world full of giants?
Not really. I mean, it depends on your definition of giant, you know?
Let me ask you this, Retro. How do you feel about the your height? Do you think height matters at all to you?
No, not really.
That's fair
Doesn't
enough.
affect much for me.
I don't really understand that either. I've talked to some people who are like, man, if you're not like 6 feet tall, then you should be dead. But I just don't really understand the fascination with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't usually get complaints about it myself because I'm probably in the average range of like 5'8" to 5'9", I think. So
Yeah,
I'm sort of in the middle there.
sort of right in the middle there.
Yeah, not too short, but not too tall.
Do you think you'll ever meet someone that shares the same interest as you, that you find attractive enough to be a girlfriend with?
Well, I mean, anything's possible, really.
That's
It
true.
just all depends on if I meet the right person. You never know.
That's true.
Uh, As is life, you know. It's that's the wild thing about it. You know, it's anything can happen, really.
Yeah, nothing's really set in concrete, you know. It could go one way or another, stuff like that.
Yeah, because I could say like I've had my bad moments, and it going in the bad direction, but I've also had the flip side, which is really satisfying in terms of other things.
Yeah, just, do you ever wish you had more of a companion, you know?
Like a romantic type.
Yeah, like someone you can depend on and stuff like that.
It's weird. It kind of depends on how I'm feeling on certain days, Like some days, like, oh, that would be nice. And then other days, it's like, I don't think I really like people.
Right. It's a bit of a flip flop between how you're feeling towards, you know, people besides yourself, thinking about how it's like, I wish I could have someone be close to me, but then other days you're like, well, thank goodness I'm more by myself. It'd be sucky if I was with someone else, because right now I'm not feeling that kind of mood.
Yeah, because like a lot of people I know that have been in relationships, like they always seem to end bad. So I just like think, it's like me with like drugs and alcohol, right? I have the thought of if I never do it, I can never, deal with it.
Right. You don't have to deal with all the drama kind of stuff and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see
What
that.
about you?
Uh, I don't know. I kind of feel like, I don't know. Love is tough, and being around people is also tough. I think a lot of people don't realize that, there's a lot of effort you have to put into maintaining a relationship, whether it's between friends or with family or with a lover or anything like that. And I don't know, for some weird reason, I don't know if it's because, I'm not too out there and looking around and stuff, but it always seems like um it's like more difficult now to keep a relationship no matter what, like the friendship or
Yeah.
family and stuff like that. It seems really tough nowadays.
I think that's probably why I'm very like what you call it, uninterested in even trying it, because it's like I'm already kind of bad when it comes to friendships. So it's like, why would I want to, have the same issue but for relationships?
Yeah, that's understandable. Do you think it's like do you think it's just a you issue, or do you think it's more of like a general issue that a lot of people are dealing with?
Um, well, it's kind of hard to tell. Like, I think a lot of people seem to be able to get in relationships, so I think it is probably a me issue, most likely.
Right. I've seen
But that's
some
just from
people,
my perspective.
right. I've seen some people that are in relationships, but they like fight all the time. And I don't know, like it's I've seen a relationship where neither one of them really benefit from it, right? And
Mhm.
it's like, I don't know, why don't people just break up if it's gotten to that point in their life where it's like there's
Yeah,
no
where it's all sour.
yeah, where it's sour and there's no actual enjoyment left. I think it's maybe them living off of like past memories of more great times and stuff like that, but you know, it's just crazy.
Yeah, that's what my grandmother and my biological grandfather did. Like, they they were always friends. Like after they were married, but they were just like, we just don't feel it anymore.
Yeah. I think that's pretty
So it's pretty
respectful.
amicable.
Yeah, I think that's pretty respectful, to be like, well, I don't really have feelings anymore. And then I don't know, then again, I can also see the point where um imagine you're in that situation and you're like, oh, I'll just go ahead and tell them how I feel, and then you do, and it's, what if they still have feelings for you or something like that, you know?
Yeah, that makes them feel really bad.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, this isn't as equal of a leaving as I had hoped for.
Yeah, at least for them it was pretty equal because they both were kind of, because my biological grandfather he used to be a truck driver in Texas,
Yeah,
so he spent a lot of time on the road.
yeah, that kind of makes sense then. If you're not by your partner and they can't, handle that, then yeah, makes sense not to keep them all chained up or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Gives him the opportunity to do more of what he had to do, and gives her the opportunity of finding new people.
yeah. I think what was I going to talk about? There's something about uh oh yeah, I was going to say, do you think it's more difficult to retain and like keep hold of a friendship or actual like love or relationship?
Hmm. Well, I guess with like love, that's something more deep usually.
Yeah,
So I would say like that's probably surprisingly that's probably easier to keep than friendships because with friendships, right?
yeah,
You can have mutual interest with those people, but unlike with a relationship where like, to break up, it would have to be something pretty bad usually.
yeah,
But with friendship, it could be over anything, really.
yeah. I feel like as well as, because with love it's kind of like it's a deep feeling that makes you kind of do things that want to like stick with a relationship and stuff like that. It's kind of it's another force that's kind of holding it together, whereas with friendships it's pretty much just all on you and the other person to make it happen. There's no other influences that's really keeping it together besides what you do and the other person does.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what happened with a lot of my older friend groups is a lot of them like moved on with their lives. I had friends that like went in the military,
Yeah.
for example.
I think I had one of those as well. Someone who went into the military. It's
They
kind
did they start on ROTC too?
I think so. I'm not too sure exactly, but it's weird how it's like during high school, during like the final year of high school, I kind of distanced myself from the friends I did have there. And I think it's because I was
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, because I was, you always watch the movies and, all this other stuff where, you know, slowly the friends drift apart and stuff like that. And I kind of just felt like that was going to happen. So you know, I've had issues in the past of, feeling betrayed or, you know, feeling hurt by friendships and all that. So I think I distanced myself quite quickly to, you know, try and save myself from that feeling again, which I don't think it really worked too much, but um
It kind of sounds like you can't fire me, I quit sort of thing.
yeah, it's like, well, if I break it off quicker than they do, then I'll be fine and dandy. None of this will affect me. But yeah, it all just kind of fizzled out. Like more people moved on and all that. It's you know, I remembered during the very beginning of it, a lot of the friends that I did have were like, "No way, we're gonna be friends forever." And now, like, I think they all have their own separate lives. So,
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Like that is like a surprisingly common thing in like high school friendships especially.
yeah,
Is
I
that they're not meant to last, obviously.
yeah, I think I think there's a big difference because with there's two types of friendships I like to say with high school. There's the at school friendships, and then there's the uh out of school friendships, which is basically like if you have a friend at high school that goes out with you to places and hangs out with you outside of there, then I think there's a good chance of that person being a friend afterwards. But if you just hang out with people at school, then I think those are just like, well, we both have to be here, so we may as well just be friends kind of situation.
Yeah, or both like mutually knowing each other kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what happens with most places. Like, I think if you go to work, a lot of people develop work friends because they just work there. It's not because they actually, you know, share an actual
They
interest
would
in.
be friends on any other occasion.
Yeah, exactly. It's very weird how Oh, it's kind of weird how friendships in general are made. Like, I don't know. Maybe
And the
I'm.
fact that they're not. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that it's kind of weird how friendships are because I don't know if I'm alone in saying this, but I kind of don't remember how to really make friends. You know what I mean?
Like you don't know like what kind of places to go to meet people, or
Yeah, like where to go or how to, you know, get a friend. You know, be like, or I don't know. I guess something like that. It's where to go to meet friends. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah. I think.
And that is the issue. It's hard to meet new people, even for me, who can be like because for me, I can be pretty social with people.
Yeah.
I'm usually good at meeting a lot of people. I just can't like get close to a lot of people. That's my issue.
Yeah. That's probably the same for me, I'd say. Except I I don't even have the ability to like connect to people. Like I don't know where to go. Like you've told me that you've gone to like a lot of different Discord servers and all that, and that you were able to meet some cool people there and stuff, but like I don't even know how to do that, you know. It's like
Damn.
yeah, it's kind of hard, you know. I think because you go to servers that are like Ratchet and Clank and other stuff like that, right?
Yeah, like I don't know if there's like a binding of there. There probably is some kind of binding of Isaac server. Maybe you just gotta find servers based on your interest.
Yeah, basically. See, but that's also the thing. I'm weird. I'm like a freak, you know what I mean? Because like I think you've probably seen it once before where I'm like, "What, you like what I like? Ugh, gross." Or something like that, right?
I noticed that yeah, somebody likes what you like, you suddenly don't like it,
Yeah. I don't know
or
what.
if it's like the popular thing, you don't like it, right?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, why would you want to play this new game when you can play this like 15-year-old game, idiot? And then once they start playing it, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go play something else.
Oh, do you want to play The Sims 4 and you could be playing The Sims Herbs in the City?
Yeah. And then they're like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and give it a shot. Here, look. And I'm like, oh, I mean, why wouldn't you be playing Sims 1, the original, idiot? You know, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's because
I
I
think
want.
that's what oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think uh that's just me trying to be like the special and cool kid or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. It's very weird though. I don't know why I do that, but you know, very freaky deaky.
Oh, I think a lot of people have different ways on like socializing like that. That just all dependent on the person, really.
Yeah, I think so. It's what is it? Because I know when people do Blender things, you know, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I want to see that. Or if they do art stuff in general, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Let me look at that. But I think there's some kind of feeling inside of me that I kind of, I don't know, it's gonna sound mean or whatever, but I kind of cringe when people talk about video games in such like detail. I don't know. I think it's because when I was a kid, it's like, you know, you weren't really cool for knowing video games. But then eventually there was that shift, you know what I mean? Where people were like, oh, video games
Right.
are cool, you know? So, well, everyone else got to move on and be like, oh, yeah, video games are epic. Look, I bought this $200 statue of my favorite game character, you know? I'm just kind of like,
Yeah, with
ugh.
you, you're still stuck in that previous phase.
Yeah, I'm stuck in the phase where people would have made fun of you and been like, "You're a fucking nerd, idiot," for doing something like that.
Yeah, there's an episode from I know, ironically, I'm talking about a media, but it is actually related to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There was an episode of Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah.
And where one of the villains was like made to look lame because he's playing a video game, and he's like, "That's right, I'm a hardcore gamer." And
Yeah.
like in more modern context, it kind of just comes off as like more memey now than anything. But at
Yeah.
the time of that show, that would have been, kind of more legit. That like, oh yeah, it's embarrassing to him,
Yeah, that's a weird thing to do, man. What, you play video games? Whereas nowadays it's like everyone plays video games. I
Yeah,
think,
so it's not a very weird thing to say. It's kind of like, oh, this guy's cool.
yeah. I think it's kind of interesting how a lot of things in society we view as like bad or, you know, weird or, I don't know, outlier kind of stuff eventually just becomes normal, I guess. The more it's introduced or talked about or whatever, you know? Like,
Yeah, that's with a lot of things I noticed.
yeah, I think the reason why that's a thing nowadays is because um it's probably because of the internet. Like everyone can go find their own clique, their own group that supports their hobby or idea, even if that hobby or idea might not be good either, you know?
Yeah, because back then the only way you could like really meet mutual people is on like AOL or something.
Yeah.
And even then, like it's hard to find specific, groups like that.
Yeah, exactly. Now you can find it, wherever you go and stuff like that. And I feel like it strengthens whatever thing they are talking about, you know?
Yeah. And I think there's a sense that it's like in a sense it's positive because it's a nice way to meet fellow people who are mutual about games. Although, sometimes you don't meet the best people. That
Yeah.
just happens.
Yeah, I was about to ask you what you thought about it. Like, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Because, you know, while in the past you wouldn't be able to connect to other people who also felt the same way about a game, and maybe like you talked about it in real life and people were like, whatever, or, something like that. Have we really moved in a good direction where people can meet like-minded individuals, but now that they've met those people, now they only focus around that one subject. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
like, they make their name, like just are there a personality all about that sort of thing?
yeah, they become practically obsessed with that one category, now that they found others that they can just kind of go in a circle with, stuff like that. Is it really, that good compared to before where, maybe only they were able to understand it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a thing, like I notice a lot of people do over the years of me making friends and all that.
Yeah. Oh, let me ask you this, because I know you're into a lot of the Ratchet and Clank stuff and the Slice stuff, and I know you've kind of been around different groups that are surrounded in that kind of media. Do you ever like get tired of it, or do you ever find yourself like being like, man, that this is like the fifth time I've heard about the cool or interesting fact about Ratchet and Clank. I'm getting kind of tired of it or anything like that.
Honestly, sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
It like when you hear about the same franchise all the time, I think that's why I go on so many servers. I want to like hear from fans of different things, like Ninja Turtles. I've been on some servers like that, or Parappa, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just kind of wondering because it's like I know you've told me over the years some cool facts or behind the scenes kind of stuff for video games that you find interesting. And I was just wondering if you ever go to servers where people kind of repeat that
Overdo it.
same, yeah, they like repeat the same fact or cool information, and it's like it starts to get graded down where you're like, ugh, you know. I've already heard
That's
this.
not even the worst part. In the Ratchet fan base, like, there's so many arguments over like the dumbest things. Like, I've heard people argue about like, what's Ratchet's age in the first game? There's like a debate on whether he's 15 or 18 or some stupid shit like that.
It's kind of interesting. I guess people have to start making up things or nitpicking to the very minute detail in order to keep interest or you know, try and generate some kind of conversation around that, you know.
Right. Because like with Ratchet and Clank, honestly, there's not really much to talk about it when it comes to that right now.
Yeah, because it's always changing, isn't it? It's but there's not enough information released about that currently.
Yeah, there's probably like not going to be a new game for a while either, since they're working on Spider-Man and all that.
Yeah, that's true. Are you gonna?
Unless they like have some second team.
I wonder if they would do that. I kind of. It does make me wonder why. Like, is there any real reason why they decided to make a new Ratchet and Clank game as of late?
Oh, like when they made the last one?
Yeah, the Rift Apart one. Like, what made them say, yeah, you know what? Let's make another Ratchet and Clank game.
Probably because it was 5 years since the previous one, so like, it's been enough time.
Yeah, that's 5 whole years. You know? Wait, so
Yeah, that's like half a decade.
let me go take a look. When did, or maybe you can tell me. When did Ratchet and Clank?
It came out on. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, when did Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart come out?
June 11th, 2021.
So basically, 2 years from now, we'll have a new Ratchet and Clank game.
That works for me. Gives me time to get into other franchises.
Is there any new franchises you've been kind of delving into as of late?
Well, this might be a funny one since it's so well known. The super underrated gem, Super Mario Sunshine. It's been very fun trying that game.
That's pretty cool. How has it been so far?
It's been pretty good. I enjoyed trying it. I like all the little water packs you get. I like the platforming. It's very interesting, like because it's very momentum based.
Yeah,
The way you platform in that one.
yeah.
That and like oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's a lot of physics involved in that.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's like platforming sections where you have to utilize stuff like wall jumps. So you kind of have to know a little bit of parkour sort of stuff to be able to get through it.
Right. That makes sense.
And I was stupid because I actually missed a whole level for like 2 parts when I was streaming it.
How has your streaming been as well? As you know,
It's actually been pretty good with that game. I had some issues today,
right?
but when I tried it again in an hour, it worked pretty good.
It's good. Have you met any new people doing that?
I surprisingly had a decent amount of people join my streams. I really didn't think I would have anybody, because that's usually what happens. But I've had a decent few people join.
That's pretty nice to hear.
Some people you mutually know have joined a good few times.
Who the hell joined?
Can I say it on the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Killa and Melissa. I've seen both of them pop up a good few times.
Great. Now I know who to fucking ban. No, but that's cool.
They're like traitors.
I like it when people on my server get to it's like interconnecting, you know. I've noticed that with my I wouldn't really even call it a fan base. I've noticed that with the people in my servers that they come from all kinds of different walks of life, you know. It's not really you know, it's not a concentrated one thing fits all kind of situation, you know.
Yeah, like everybody doesn't live in like one country, for example.
Yeah, no one lives in one country. No one has the same kind of, you know, understanding of the world. I don't know. I mean it more of like you know, in a Ratchet and Clank server, everyone there is a Ratchet and Clank fan. You know, there's no
Correct.
there's no going around that. But with my server, it's like it's a lot of different people with a lot of different interests, and it's kind of interesting to see how everyone meshes together, you know?
It's kind of like America. It's like a melting pot.
Like a fucking melting pot. I'm walking here. But
Melting pot of ideas, of fan bases, of tons of stuff.
yeah, and it makes me happy to see people, you know, start to do things together without me being there, you know? Like, I like being there, but I also like seeing the people in my server do things together without me, you know, see connections being formed and stuff. So whenever someone
Yeah,
visits,
like you don't feel like well they're just hanging out with those people because you know they're chatting with you know because I'm there kind of thing.
yeah, exactly. Like, you know, as much as I oppose it, you know, being like, yeah, what's up, guys? Be sure to join my community, haha. You know, I do actually genuinely like it. It's you know, it's kind of sweet to see. It's like, hey, I found most of these people by myself. Let me. It's good to see them all get together. It's like you're all my little babies. You're all my little babies, and you're all getting together and having a good time.
Oh no, all your fleshlights.
All my fleshies, my fleshyites. Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah, with me, like I'm pretty good with like joining chats. I'm very bad at like starting a VC, you know.
yeah, that's fair
And
enough.
I don't know if that's like from past experiences or something, but I don't know.
I'm like the complete opposite. Like I can start voice chat, but I'll be damned if I fucking join one. Cause I don't know, I guess it really depends on the people who's in it, but like I don't know. It's just weird. I have this weird mindset where it's like, oh well, you know, if people join my call, then obviously that means they're interested in chatting with me. Whereas like
Right.
you know, if I join a call, it's like, oh, they probably think I'm interested in talking to them. Not like I want to or anything, but you know,
Baka baka.
baka baka. Yeah, it's a pretty shitty mindset. I'm trying to get out of it, but it can be difficult sometimes. You know?
Have you tried to speak to like a what do you call them, like a psychiatrist or a therapist about that sort of mindset?
Not yet, but I do plan on seeing one soon. I I have started some medication for the anxiety I've been having pretty much all my life. Um, it's pretty good so far. I thought uh the headache I had today was from it. It still might be, but I don't know. I haven't
Do you
noticed.
feel like you have a better mindset now?
I kind of feel a little bit like better. Like I don't feel as anxious about stuff, but um I don't know if that's exactly the pills. It might just be because how life is going and stuff. But
Well, sometimes too, it could also be the fact that like you know you yourself are believing that like it's doing something, you know, and that causes the chain reaction of you feeling better
yeah, exactly. That's
in turn.
That's exactly one of the things I'd love to talk about on my next podcast or something like that, is that the mind's a very powerful thing. It's crazy because of how you can just, the pure belief in something um can really change how we feel or do things. Like you know, it's kind of like people who are going up against the disease and they truly do believe that they can, fight against it, and they do. It's like, I don't know, something crazy about that.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah. You ever see those, like, or hear about those stories about, like, people who roll over in a car, and maybe it's like a mom and her kid, and the mom gets out of the car and has to, like, lift it up, and she's able to do it or something like that. It's all because of, like, adrenaline and stuff like that. Maybe not.
Yeah,
Oh, I was
that makes me think of like. Oh, go ahead.
sorry. I was just gonna say that I don't mean like she lifts it up above her head or anything like that, but I mean like she lifts it up to let her kid out or whatever. But yeah, go
She
ahead.
lifts it like a bodybuilder.
She lifts it like it's nothing. But go ahead.
But yeah, speaking of like that makes me remember my mother, she has schizophrenia. And from whenever she was like in her episode, she like the sort of violence, right, was
Yeah,
like a lot more measurable. Like, she could probably strangle somebody when she's in that sort of mode.
yeah. That's just crazy, isn't it?
And she never has any recollection of it either. Whenever I talk to her about it.
Has she? Is it kind of like a blackout or something like that?
Kinda, yeah.
Huh.
Like she'll say, like I'd be like, "You said all this," and she'd be like, "Oh, I did," and she'd like laugh about it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's like, I don't know.
Right?
That makes me super fearful of like mind stuff. Like, you know, that's why drugs, at least to me, are very frightening. It's not because of like, oh, well, there's a crack addict that's outside and they're gonna knife you. It's that, you know, it's what it does to the mind. You know, it just kind of fucks up with everything. It makes people go crazy and shit like that, you know?
Yeah, I don't like it because of the vulnerability that it causes.
Yeah. It's, it like, can't really do anything about it either. Like, I'm sure, I don't know. You've been taking medicine, right?
Yeah, for my OCD.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's any big difference like between how you were before versus now,
I'll be honest, not at all, really.
right?
It hasn't really done much for me.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe if you're from the outside and you're looking at your situation, maybe it has done a whole lot, but how would you know if it had or hadn't, from your outlook? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it might have changed my like mindset on different things. Like maybe I'm a little less obsessed with different thoughts,
Yeah.
you know, or like I do the compulsions a lot less. But to me, in my mind, I don't notice it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, exactly. Because, it was a transition for you. And, you know, how it's kind of like if someone went up to you and said, the color blue doesn't actually look like that. It's like, well, fuck you. Yes, it does. It's my
Right.
reality. That's how it seems to me. You know, how are you ever supposed to go outside of what you see? Your perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And what's shitty for me is like with my OCD, I have it for every single thing I do. And I mean literally everything.
Yeah. I know you've told me about some of the things that you do in order to, you know, kind of go with what your OC is making you do.
Yeah, like the light switch or the door, for example.
Yeah, and you've told me that you recently developed a tick as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard it a few times on here. The little cough I do.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, that's like very frightening, you know. And I feel for your situation. It's like you know, it's not like you even willingly chose to do that or have that kind of issue. The is the biggest thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I feel like I have no control over it a lot of the time. Like, I don't know how to explain it, right? But it feels like when I don't do it, right? Like, I feel like a sense of panic,
Yeah.
like
It's
immense panic too. Like, oh,
it's kind of like breathing, you know what I mean? It's like you kind of have to do it even if you have even if you want to have control over it. Like you can hold your breath, but eventually you have to keep breathing. It's just like the tick. Eventually you can stop for like a little bit maybe, but you get that feeling that you have to keep doing it.
yeah, exactly. And, with my OCD, if I don't, cough quite the right way, then I'll be like, oh, well, I gotta try it again and again and again.
uh,
And it's just the whole cycle.
it's just it's very interesting on how that's kind of developed for you. It's like it's all, it's not like you swallowed something and it went down into your lungs and it's like, oh, that's why I'm having to cough like this. It's all just like mental stuff.
Yeah, a lot of it is mental, and that is the thing that can be kind of scary. Is that's like well, physically is definitely bad. Mentally is a very bad spot to get hit in.
Yeah, because it's like um you know mentally you can't, it, and again it's something that I'd probably want to go more into in depth with, but it's like your mental state is, that's like the final barrier or the final thing you have of yourself, because once that's corrupted or like once something goes wrong there, then that's your reality now. Like
Yeah, the physical state doesn't make any difference at that point.
yeah, the physical state, you can tell if you're in the right mind exactly what's wrong. If you have a rash on your arm, you feel it and you're like, well, this isn't the normal way I'm supposed to be feeling, but if
Yeah, that's why we have the term brain dead.
yeah,
Like there are patients that are technically still alive, right?
right,
But you know, when they are considered brain dead, you get the choice because that's like the last line of defense to pull the cord usually.
yeah, that's and that's also incredibly sad. The people who become brain dead, it's, or like, you ever see those movies where it's people who are just fully unresponsive, like their mouth is agape, it's hanging open, and they just
Yeah.
don't have anything there. And
That's what happened with my grandmother before she passed away. I remember the last few times I saw her, she wasn't able to talk really.
yeah, that's, I don't know. I why why do people uh like keep that person alive at that point? I'm not directly speaking on your experience. I'm sure you know your family had their
Oh
reasons.
no, we didn't have a choice. It just happened.
Oh, gotcha. But it's like, I don't know. Is that person even living? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. And it might be a scummy thing to say, but like with my mom, with her mental state, she's not really there herself even.
Yeah.
Feels like sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I don't know. I'll have to agree with you on that, that you know, in my point of view, if people are that far gone or suffering, where there's no real resemblance of, I don't know. See, I was about to say if there's no real resemblance of their original self, but then, there's the whole argument of, well, then what is the original self at that point, If we as a person keeps changing throughout life, then what would be considered the original self,
Right.
Yeah.
And then like a lot of people have wacky beliefs too of like oh, alternate realities, ooh, Mandela. That's another one.
Yeah. I feel like that's just like full on paranoia or anxiety or something like that.
Oh yeah, like people that are like, oh yeah, I remember this as that. And then it turns out usually it's like, oh, you just remembered wrong, or oh, it did exist that way. It just got changed later on.
Yeah, exactly. I think people are just uh, a lot of them are misinformed and they don't know exactly what they're talking about, which is
Yeah, exactly.
probably the same with me. You know, I say a whole lot of bibble babble kind of stuff, and I don't know what I'm talking about all the time.
Hey,
But
that's fair enough. I don't know with me, it's I don't usually do a lot of bibble babble.
yeah, fair enough. You, you like to have all your information, correct and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I like to have my facts right. I don't know, that's the thing I like to do is like research on a lot of different things,
Yeah, but
like charts and all that.
I'd love to talk about some more uh charts, and I I believe you're also very much into history as well, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Well, then maybe we can talk about that on the next podcast episode, if there ever
Oh,
even
we
is
got a
another one.
cliffhanger.
Yeah, we got a cliffhanger, baby. That's right. But all right, I think that's a good place to end the first one. See if anyone even gives a flying
Yeah,
flip.
yeah. Glad I could join you on your little podcast.
I'm glad I
What's it
forced you
called,
into it.
anyways?
Yeah, it's gonna be called Within the Flesh, baby. We talk about deep inner feelings and maybe what we think about how some things are in life. You know,
Yeah, and I think we had a pretty good deep conversation. So yeah, I think there was some good progress made today.
is there anything you would like to say before I stop the recording?
Uh, I like pizza.
He likes pizza, everyone. Thank you. Okay.